Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited for today's video. I am going to be tier ranking popular BookTok books. I've seen this video floating around about tier ranking books. I could never figure out what website or how these YouTubers were getting their tier ranking like charts until I just kind of Googled it and I was like, oh, that's how they do it. So I'm using this tier ranking website. I have my laptop here with me today. I'm so excited for today's video because I read 42 books last year and then I've read 14 books this year so far, and I never got to do a 2023 book wrap up because I wasn't posting videos. Basically, all of these books that I am ranking today have been read in 2023 because that's when I started reading. And a lot of the books that I've read are from BookTok, pretty much all of them. So you guys will be seeing my rankings for about pretty much every book that I've read. I've left a couple out because they aren't that popular on BookTok. If you guys are interested in today's video, then keep on watching. Okay, I have my super old 2013 MacBook here. I refuse to get rid of this MacBook. This MacBook has gotten me through high school, college, and now oh my god, I'm 3 years out of college. Holy shit, time flies. Oh my god. Anyways, 3 years after college. I refuse to buy another one because this is my baby and I feel like the newer ones crap out. Like my friend just got a brand new MacBook 3 years ago and it's already crapped out. She has to buy a new one. So I'm gonna keep this one as long as possible. And we're gonna go to the tier ranking website. Just excited because I've never done a screen recording video, so. YouTuber things. I just went to tiermaker.com and I'm using someone's BookTok tier list because I had such a hard time making my own and it was just too time consuming and no one's got time for that. So here are the tier ranking columns. The first one is will sell my soul to experience this for the first time again. These are my 6-star reads. These are God tier level reads. These are, like I said, I would sell my soul to experience this for the first time. These are my babies. Okay. Then we have, it was amazing, but it wasn't a book from the gods. So these are my 5-star reads. These are reads that I absolutely adore, I love, I talk about, and I recommend on a daily basis or a weekly basis. But they're just not from another world. They're not 6 stars, but because it's very, very hard for a book to be 6 stars, but these were amazing and I would recommend them and I think about them daily. Then we have So Close to a 5-star, just not quite there. So these are like my 4.25 star books, my 4.5, my 4.75 books. Like, you were great, but you just needed a little bit more to be on the 5-star level. Then we have not bad, but not great. So these are like basically what I just said. These books weren't bad, but they weren't great. I don't think about them on a daily basis. They were just okay. We have what was the community thinking? Meaning, what was BookTok thinking when they recommended me this book? There's just no way that this was a 5-star book. I can't even believe people like this book. And then we have my DNF, which means did not finish, which means did not like, which means do not recommend and do not read. And those are like my 1-star, 0-star books. Didn't finish them, but I count them as a read because I spent a lot of time reading them. So I'm gonna count it. Some of the books I even got to like 80% and DNF them. So whoever created this tier list added a lot, and I just put the ones that I did read on top because we're obviously not gonna go through the books that I haven't read. So we're gonna stop at Dark Matter, which is gonna be our last one because I haven't read The Dare or Girls in Pieces or All Your Perfects. I haven't read any of those beneath. We're starting off with the banger, and that is Twisted Love by Anna Huang. Now, if you follow me on BookTok, which is Jordan and her books, if you aren't following, go follow. Or if you've been watching my recent videos on YouTube, you would know I don't like this book. Twisted Love goes, so I did finish Twisted Love. I pushed through. So I'm gonna put it as a what was the community thinking? I'm going to, because I gave it 2 stars. And this book was not for me. I truly think that this book is for the girlies who never read fan fiction in their life, who just discovered books with smut and were like, oh, that's for me. What, like, I've never experienced this before, so I of course love Twisted Love. I felt like this book had a ridiculous plot line. Things were so far-fetched and unbelievable, and I just didn't like this book. And to put it in perspective, I think the main male character becomes like a billionaire at age 16. It just wasn't for me. And then the female main character's best friend is a princess, and it just wasn't for me. But do I have to finish the series? Yes, because I bought the entire series when I first started reading, thinking I was gonna love it, because I thought I could trust BookTok, but I could not. And for that reason, that book is not worth the hype, and I would not recommend. Okay. Then we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I absolutely adore this book. I am going to put this in my so close to a 5-star, just not quite there. Now, the reason why I don't believe it's a 5-star for me is because I guessed the plot twist. I saw it coming from a mile away, and I am one of the dumbest people, especially reading thriller. And this isn't a thriller book. But when I read thriller books, I can never guess what's gonna happen. There is a plot twist in The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I guessed it, so I couldn't give it 5-star. But this book is amazing, and it was so close to being a 5-star. Okay, then we have Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. Now, I have discovered I do not like Penelope Douglas's writing. She is not for me. I read this because it was one of the very first books that my book club picked for the month, and so I tried getting into it. I couldn't get into it. I got like 80% of the way there. I can't even really remember the plot. All I know is that the 2 main characters were like pen pals, and then I think the female character never knows who she's writing to, but the male main character spoiled it and found out. I don't remember. I didn't care enough to finish the book, so I DNF'd it, and I would not recommend this book to anyone. So that was a DNF. Then we get to The Silent Patient. I'm going to put this in the not bad but not great category. This one wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. I read it in one day because I just really wanted to put it on my October TBR, and I read it the last day of October. And it hurt my head, and I didn't like it. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, and it just wasn't what I wanted at the time. I can see why people like it. It kind of was predictable, the plot twist, so I'm just putting it in, it was okay. Then we have The Vanishing Half. This was actually another book club's pick of the month that I did not pick. And I feel like every book that I do not pick that other people pick, I don't like. But it's okay. But this was a DNF for me. I put my book club's book of the month's picks on the back burner. I never finish them on time, or if I do, I start like the day before they're due, and then I don't finish them just because some of the books that they pick I'm not excited for, and there's so much more on my TBR. But The Vanishing Half. I started this the day that my book club was meeting to talk about this book, and it didn't capture me. I was like, where is this going? I got to like 150 pages in, and I didn't finish it. And thank God I didn't finish it, because I went to the club and everyone was like, yeah, this is not a good book. Then we have A Court of Thorns and Roses. If you can see behind me, we have Sarah J. Maas's shelf. She is my favorite author ever, and I think a lot of people can say the same. But we have A Court of Rose and Thorns. This series is a 6-star series for me. Okay, but some of the books are not 6 stars, so let's talk about them. A Court of Thorns and Roses. So this was close to a 5-star, just not quite there. This book was the first in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. Now, this is one of my favorite series of all time. So the book was good. The first book's good, but it's a lot of setting up the plot and building the world. It's a lot of world building in the first book. So And can we just talk about the riddle? Okay, again, I am not a smart cookie when it comes to riddles. I suck so bad at them. Like, I'm so bad. I think someone just posted the other day a riddle, and it was like, what has a bed, 4 legs, and a foot, or something like that. And the riddle was a bed, and I couldn't guess that for shit. But it was something like that, and I couldn't guess it. I'm so bad with riddles. If my life depended on it, I would probably die. But this riddle in A Court of Thorns and Roses, can we just talk about it? Because I guessed it, and I was like, wait, that's too fucking easy. And then I guessed it. So maybe the riddle made it not 5 stars. I don't know. But the first book is not 5 stars. It was close. It was a 4.5. But it was not a 5 stars. Then we have A Court of Mist and Fury, which is pretty much everyone's favorite of hers. And we are going to go with Will Sell My Soul to Experience This for the first time again. This is a 6-star read for me. This had everything you ever needed in a book. I think about it daily. I want to live in this world. I want the male main character to be my husband. He is my favorite book boyfriend of all time. And even if you don't like romantasy, I feel like you have to read this book. It's just amazing. I love it, and it deserves all the hype in the entire world. Then we have A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is the next book in the series, and this book is a Will Sell My Soul to Experience This for the first time again. This book is awesome. A lot of people don't love it or don't think it's as good as of A Court of Mist and Fury, and I disagree with that. I think you get to see so much of the other courts, and I was just so interested in the other courts and the war strategy in this, and I know why a lot of people don't like this book, and it's because the male main character gets with the female character finally in the second book, and I think the building up to that is over. But just the war scenes in this and just all the detail coming together, and then the ending of the story, because technically it's like a trilogy between the male main character and the female main character's romance. I loved it. I ate it up. Love it. Couldn't tell you which one was my favorite. I think they're both 6-star reads. Then you get to A Court of Frost and Starlight. So this is a novella, so I feel like I can't properly rate it up there with the actual novels, but there's a lot of books that I don't really care for the characters, but this book has outstanding character development. I actually think about these characters on a daily basis. I want them to be my friends. I want them to be my family, because again, I want to be married to the male main character. But I really do think like this was up there for me still, because I genuinely care about the characters. You don't have to read the novella, but I highly recommend that you do if you love this series. So I'm putting A Court of Frost and Starlight so close to a 5-star, just not quite there, which is really high for a novella. And then we have A Court of Silver Flames. The main female character in this book is Nesta, and that is Farah's sister, who was the main character in the trilogy. And I really thought I wasn't gonna like this book. It took me 200 pages to get in, but I absolutely ate that shit up. And I still think it's a Will Sell My Soul to Experience This for the first time again. Definitely think it's 6 stars. Then we read Verity. I do think Verity is a 5-star read. I don't really care what you say. Great plot twist. Kept me interested from the very beginning. Was amazing, but it wasn't a book from the gods. Beach read. Okay, I think this, so far I've read 2 of Emily Henry's books, one being Beach read, and sorry guys, my computer's so old. I'm having a hard time moving things, but it was close to a 5-star, just not quite there. But I love Beach read. Then we have Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I also think that this deserves to be in the so close to a 5-star, just not quite there. I love this book. I thought it kept me entertained. I love the story. A lot of people don't like the romance in this book. I liked it. Kept me interested. It wasn't a 3-star. It was definitely somewhere in the 4-star range. Then we have November 9th by Colleen Hoover. I might get some comments on this one. So I put this in my 5-star reads. It had me hooked from the very beginning, and I couldn't guess the plot twist. I It had a connection to Ugly Love, and I was like, it was so well done. Very unpopular opinion, but I think November 9th has to be up there with my favorite Colleen Hoover books. I don't know. I loved it. I know it's problematic, but I loved it. Caraval. Okay. I think Caraval is between a 3-star and a 4-star for me. I just finished Caraval last month. I'm gonna put it in so close to a 5-star, just not quite there. I love Stephanie Garber's descriptive imagery. I thought the concept of Caraval was so cool. The only thing that I didn't like about Caraval is that it's young adult. Now that I've been reading for almost a year now, I have discovered I really don't like young adult, but I can see the hype with it, and I can definitely see why it's 5-star for some people. I have to give it a 4-star at least, I think. So I think it's close to a 5-star, just not quite there. It Ends With Us. I think It Ends With Us was also a 5-star. Honestly, I haven't read it. When I first started reading, that was like the book that got me into reading, and for that reason, I think it's still a 5-star. I don't know what I would rate it today if I read it, but I do think it's a 5-star, and I forever will thank Colleen Hoover for getting me back into reading. If He Had Been With Me. Now, so many people love this book, and I was not one of them. I didn't care for the sequel. Everyone was raving about it, didn't care about it. It was not bad, but it was not great. It was in the 3-star range for me. Again, I don't like young adult. I thought the ending was really predictable. I feel like it's been done 1,000 times. I just didn't think it was that special, and I don't think about it on a daily basis. So it's going in. It was not bad, but not great, but I do see why people love it. Then we're gonna go to Credence. Credence, we're putting it's not bad, but it's not great. I just think it's for the people who, again, haven't read smut. I definitely do recommend Credence if you just want a good time, but I don't think there was really any, I think it was a very weird plot, and honestly, I'm not really sure now that I think about it what that true rating of that book is. I know it's not 5-star. I don't know. I'm just gonna put it in the 3-star range. It was okay. Then we have Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline. I also have recognized that I am not a dark romance reader. I really thought I would be. I'm not. Haunting Adeline I remember it being in the 4-star range. It definitely was not a 5-star. It kept me entertained, but I found the male main character so problematic. Like, his profession contradicts what he's doing to the female character, and I hate their romance. I hate how it was forced on the female main character, and he's a stalker essentially, but we are just gonna erase the fact that he's a stalker and just say he's a hero because he rescues girls from human trafficking, but he's really kind of human trafficking the female character. Yeah, I don't know, but it did keep me entertained, and probably has the spiciest scenes I've ever read in any book, so I'm gonna put it in the 4-star range, as well as Hunting Adeline. But I don't think I'd ever reread that book again. Then we have The 7-Year Slip, which was everyone's rave at the end of 2023. Guess where I'm gonna put this book? I am going to put it in the 3-star range. It was not bad, but it was not great. I don't really see people's hype for this book. I was very bored. It reminded me of One Italian Summer, which is up there. Archer's Voice. I put Archer's Voice in the 4-star range. I was so shocked when I read this book. I really thought it was gonna be a 5 stars. Wait, no. Archer kind of gave me the ick, but I also loved him at the same time. But this book, I thought the plot twist was so plain Jane. Icebreaker. Not bad, but not great. Again, don't see the hype with this. I think it's very fan fiction-y. It was better than Twisted Love, I can tell you that right now. But I would never reread this book again, and I would only probably give it to a 16-year-old to read. Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. It was fucking fantastic. We are going, it was amazing, but it wasn't a book from the gods. It was amazing. I have my friend reading it. She's like, oh my god, I think this book is gonna get me back into reading again. It had everything you could ever need. I laughed. I thought the male main character, Jacob Maddox, is one of my new top book boyfriends. I have anxiety. It portrayed anxiety so well. It seriously made me laugh. I loved the ending. It had about every romance trope that there is, and it was done so well. This is probably my favorite romance book of all time. All right, then we have One Dark Window. It was, I don't know, I kind of want to lower my rating for One Dark Window just because I was invested in October, but I've had Two Twisted Crowns sitting on my shelf for so long and I haven't gotten to it, and I kind of have soft DNF'd it for now, and I'm like, did I really like One Dark Window that much, or was I just too caught up in the hype for it with TikTok? I don't know. I think it's definitely a 4-star, but it might be pushing like a 3-star now that I think about it. All right, then we have Throne of Glass. I didn't include all 8 books of Throne of Glass because it would just take too much time to get into, but I definitely think Throne of Glass, who is also done by Sarah J Maas, is a 6-star level series. I also have an unpopular opinion. I am an ACOTAR girly opposed to Throne of Glass, but I think Throne of Glass was done so well, and that entire universe is 6 stars, so we're gonna put it up there. The Housemaid. Okay, The Housemaid was a 4.5. We have a lot of 4.5s. One of my first thrillers that I've ever read, and I think it's super great when it's introducing you to the world of thriller. It kept me entertained. I read it in like 2 days. I do think The Housemaid's Secret is better, and I think that one is a 5-star read because the plot twist really got me there. And yeah, I think that series is super well done. Now we have Divine Rivals, which is also a very unpopular opinion, but it was bad, not great. Fourth Wing. Oh my god. This book is fucking amazing. It is so good. I love Fourth Wing. We are putting it in the Will Sell My Soul category. Will sell my soul to experience this for the first time again. Loved it. I have gotten both my grandmas to read it. They ate it up. They loved it. I got my roommate to read this series. My roommate read it in like a day, and then she gave it to her mom when her mom came to visit. Her mom borrowed the book from me. She read it in like a day. And then they moved to Iron Flame, and now they have a Fourth Wing hangover, and I have not been able to get her to read a single book since. But then we moved to Iron Flame, and Iron Flame was just too long, and I do think, oh sorry, it's not what was the community thinking. It was a so close to a 5-star, just not quite there. I'm still invested in the Fourth Wing world. I think Rebecca Yarros hopefully will take a lot of constructive criticism from the book community about Iron Flame. Okay, then we get to another series, which is the Chestnut Spring series. I absolutely love this series. It is a 5-star series for sure for me. I think about it literally on a daily basis. I want to live in this world, which is so crazy for me to say that, but with just a normal plain Jane romance. But it's not plain Jane. It's super spiced up. It's on a next level that I can't even describe. I love every single book boyfriend in this series, which is insane. And it's insane that the first book is actually my least favorite. It's Flawless by Elsie Silver. We're gonna go with, it was a 4-star. I was kind of bored with the first book. I didn't really like the plot, but I'm so glad I stuck it out to the second book, because the second book was literally 5-star, 6-star read. I don't know if I should put it in it was amazing, but it wasn't a book from the gods. I think it's still a 5-star, not a 6-star, but oh my god, it is up there with yours truly. I loved Heartless. Daddy Cade is literally the best like book boyfriend of all time. And then we have Powerless. This was, Powerless is a hockey romance, but it's set in the Chestnut Springs world. And it was so close to a 5-star, but it wasn't quite there. It was like a 4.5 star. We have Reckless, which is a pregnancy trope romance by Elsie Silver with one of the female characters that were in her other books. So they're all kind of interconnected standalones. And this was also 5 stars. I think I gave it 4.5 stars, but honestly, I kind of changed my mind. I think it is 5 stars. I think it's up there with Heartless because I really can't pick which one I love more, Reckless or Heartless. And then we have Hopeless, which, unpopular opinion of mine, but I think it's so close to a 5-star, just not quite there. I think I read Hopeless at a perfect time where I really needed a Chestnut Spring romance because I read 4 Chestnut Spring series books in October, and that was basically my whole entire October of what I read, and I was eating it up, and then I savored the last book, Hopeless, until February, and I'm so glad that I waited, and I think I got it at the most perfect time, and I think that's why I really loved it. I loved the female main character and Beau. I love Bailey and Beau, and that's an unpopular opinion because I've seen reviews, but I'm so glad I did not listen to the reviews. Reminders of Him is also a 4.5 star. Love this romance. Not 5 stars, but I almost love it just as much as November 9th, and it ends with us in Verity. I loved Reminders of Him. I remember putting it on the back burner for so long, and then I picked it up and I was like, oh, I can't waste my money like this. I need to read it. And then I just got so invested in it, and yeah, I love Reminders of Him. Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. This is a thriller. It's a really dark thriller, but it was a 5-star read for me. It was amazing, but it wasn't a book from the gods. Powerless. So I have a bone to pick with Powerless. I am going to put it in the 5-star range. The only reason why it's not a 3-star is because of the ending. Kai's last words to Peyton got me a little bit emotional. I think she kind of copied the Hunger Games and apparently the Red Queen, and I made a short about this and people went off in the comments or whatever. I've never read the Red Queen, but apparently she got a lot of inspo from it, and I could not give this series 5 stars. Summer I Turned Pretty. So I didn't DNF this, but I was like, what was the community thinking? I am so glad that The Summer I Turned Pretty is a TV show. The TV show, so good. I don't really watch TV anymore, but I will be watching The Summer I Turned Pretty. Conrad, Girlies Know. I think the cast has done well. A lot of things that happen in the book don't happen in the TV show. I think the TV show is a lot more amped up and has a lot more things going on in it than the book. I was so bored reading the book. I don't recommend the book. I think it's literally a 2-star series. I don't know how it got made into a TV show, but I'm so glad it did. But the book's absolutely not. Happy Place by Emily Henry. I just finished this. This was not bad, but it wasn't great. I was like, I need to finish this book because I don't want to DNF it, but it's not horrible, but it's not great. Very predictable. Nothing really happens that's crazy. I don't know why it's so hyped up. And then we have The Serpent of the Wings of Night. This was also, surprisingly, a 4.5 stars. And then we have Dark Matter. And Dark Matter is a science fiction novel by Blake Crouch. And this is actually in my 5-star reads. I love this book. It was super easy to get into. I also DNF'd it for a long time. It was a soft DNF. I knew I was coming back to it. But when I picked it up, it was great, and it's mind-blowing, and it's definitely could be a real thing if you read the story. And I loved it, and I recommend it. And it's one of the books that I've read that I'm like, I would actually recommend this to a male audience. So if you guys want to take a quick look at what we got going on here, these are all my rankings of pretty much almost every book I've ever read. Alright guys, so that was it for today's video. Please give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. You know the YouTube drill. I hope you guys liked today's video. It was super fun for me to go and tier rank all the popular BookTok books I've read, because they're pretty much all the books that I read have been recommended to me by TikTok. So I hope you guys take into consideration my rankings and decide whether or not you want to read these books. And yeah, I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye!